Ceremonies marking the 27th anniversary of the establishment of the Hong Kong SAR. Word that the central government will send 2 new giant pandas to the city. And in France, the right-wing bloc wins 33% of the votes in the first round of National Assembly elections. Good evening and welcome to TVB News. Today marks the 27th anniversary of Hong Kong's return to the motherland. Chief Executive John Lee attended the flag-raising ceremony at the Ballistic Square this morning. Speaking at a reception afterwards, the CE said despite the West's slanderous statements about Hong Kong, the city will persevere and prosper with the support of the country. This as the central government has agreed to send 2 new giant pandas to the city. Before setting foot in Golden Bahunia Square in Wan Chai this morning, Chief Executive John Lee and his wife inspected uniformed groups at the gala's entrance. The event began with a police flag party marching into the venue in Chinese-style goose-stepping.
Please face the national flag and the regional flag and stand solemnly.
Among those present at the flag-raising ceremony were former chief executives Lun Chenying, Carrie Lam, and Donald Tsang. Mainland representatives included Zheng Yanxiong, director of the Liaison Office of the Central Government in Hong Kong, and Cui Jianchun, commissioner of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Hong Kong. The event was also attended by Chief Justice of the Court of Final Appeal, Andrew Cheung, as well as other top SAR government officials. This as former Chief Executive Cheng Chi-hua was noticeably absent. Attendees watched as helicopters under the government flying service hovered in the air carrying both the national and SAR flags. Fireboats and marine police vessels also took part in the ceremony. The venue did not provide a public viewing area. Across Hong Kong, mainland organizations in the city, such as the Liaison Office and the People's Liberation Army Garrison, held similar ceremonies. Speaking at a reception at the Convention and Exhibition Center afterwards, Chief Executive John Lee reiterated how the one country, two systems principle ensured the city's long-term prosperity. He emphasized the SAR will persevere despite the U.S. and other Western countries' bullying tactics and attempts to halt China's development. Meanwhile, Hong Kong welcomes the central government's decision to send 2 new giant pandas to the city as part of the central government's anniversary gift. It marks the first time in 17 years Beijing has given pandas to the SAR and the 3rd time since 1997. Members of the public can enjoy multiple discounts today as the city celebrates the 27th anniversary of the establishment of the Hong Kong SAR. Most 9 reports.
Trams were busy this morning. To celebrate the 27th anniversary of the establishment of the Hong Kong SAR, people are offered free tram rides. Star ferry rides between Tsim Sha Tsui and Wan Chai are also free of charge. This chain restaurant in Sha Tin was packed with customers this morning. They had to pay only 71% of the regular prices on July 1st. This man said he only came to the restaurant today because of the discount. The meals are expensive on normal days, he added. Tommy Jern, the catering sector lawmaker, also visited the restaurant. He hopes July 1st will be a joyful day for the public. A long queue was seen outside the Hong Kong Palace Museum in the West Kowloon Cultural District, a similar scene at the nearby M+ Museum. While people can visit the 2 museums without buying tickets, they had to reserve a spot on the internet in advance. Some people were disappointed when they arrived at the venue. In Central, there was a strong festive atmosphere. Some brought along their own flags to take pictures. I think Hong Kong is doing well, and I hope Hong Kong can have an even better future, this boy said.
Well, I've been here already for 11 years, so I've seen this event taking place every year, so I wouldn't say I feel much different from previous years, but of course we take it as just a holiday, right? So we enjoy it
Some residents says they are pleased about the concessions offered by the government and different sectors, while others says they will not change their schedules because of the discounts. Memos 9, TVB News.
Mainland authorities today said non-Chinese Hong Kong permanent residents can apply for mainland travel permits for Hong Kong and Macau residents home return permits starting from July 10th. There are 270,000 non-Chinese Hong Kong permanent residents. The country's immigration authorities said the new measure will improve the clearance process of non-Chinese Hong Kong permanent residents at control points on the mainland. Relevant individuals can submit applications for the travel permits at China Travel Service from July 10th. Each permit will be valid for 5 years. Individuals can stay for a maximum of 90 days on each visit. More than 500 people were named on the government's honors list this year. That's around 100 more than the year before. There are 5 recipients of the Grand Bohemian Medal, the city's top award: lawmaker Martin Liao, veteran political commentator Lau Siu-kai, Henderson Land Chairman Peter Lee, engineer Li Chak-fan, and Fujian community leader Lam Shu-chit. Authorities praised Liao for his contribution to the passing of the national security law, and Liao for his advocacy of policies strengthening the one country, two systems principle. 12 people, including lawmaker Priscilla Leung, are among recipients of the Gold Bauhinia Star. 24 people are Silver Bauhinia Star recipients, including actor and singer Andy Lau. TVB Executive Chairman Thomas Hui To was appointed by Chief Executive John Lee as a Justice of the Peace. Police charged a 32-year-old woman with murder after she allegedly killed her husband and then attempted suicide in Cheung Kwan O. She's due to appear at Kwun Tong Magistrates Courts tomorrow. The incident took place at around 11 p.m. on Saturday in Lohas Park, when a 30-year-old man had his throat slit with a knife while he was sleeping at home. He was certified dead after being sent to hospital. The woman called her father-in-law, claiming that she killed her husband. Sources said the woman attempted to commit suicide. Authorities know the couple were married for 5 years and had a son aged around 1.5 years old. Police said the wife suffered from severe depression after giving birth. In France, the far-right National Rally, or RN, party surged into a strong lead after Sunday's first round of legislative elections. In a major slap to President Emmanuel Macron, RN earned 33% of the vote, ahead of the hastily put-together New Popular Front coalition with 28%. Macron's Together group trailed with 20%. Macron called elections on June 9th after a stinging defeat by RN at European Parliament elections. He and other groups have 1 week to prevent RN from winning a majority with the second round of voting on July 7th. Nasfi Karim has more.
Marine Le Pen used to be a pariah in French politics. Now she and a far-right National Rally, or RN party, are close to dominating the establishment. Her supporters cheer as projections for the first round of snap parliamentary elections are released, putting RN in the lead ahead of the New Popular Front coalition. President Emmanuel Macron's centrist Together group comes in third. With the second round of voting on July 7th, Le Pen is urging her supporters to give RN an absolute majority in the 577-seat National Assembly. Le Pen has made efforts to clean up the image of a party once led by her father, Jean-Marie Le Pen, who had convictions for racist and anti-Semitic hate speech. Still, RN pushes an anti-immigration and anti-Europe stance that is worrying many of these French citizens who gathered at République Square in Paris. Cynthia Fefahayo, a 19-year-old political science student, said those who vote for RN do not understand the impact it will have on France. This is a France of hate that is growing. It's truly deplorable, she said. Most projections have RN falling short of an absolute majority of 289 seats, though they have the party winning most of the seats. To prevent that, Macron and the NPF must engage in horse trading over the next week. It has worked in the past, but analysts say it won't this time, with France's unbowed leader Jean-Luc Mélenchon urging people not to give RN a single vote. More than 60 candidates won outright in Sunday's elections after earning at least 50% of the votes in their constituencies. In more competitive districts, the top 2 candidates go through the second round, along with anyone who earned at least 12.5% of the votes. Should RN become the dominant party, Le Pen will install 28-year-old Jordan Bardella as Prime Minister in a cohabitation arrangement with President Macron, who has vowed to stay in office whatever the results. Cohabitation happens when the President and Prime Minister represent opposing parties. Bardella said he would oppose Macron in many policies, especially on any move to send long-range weapons or French troops to Ukraine. Nazvi Karim, TVB News.
North Korea test-fired 2 ballistic missiles today, but one of them possibly flew abnormally, South Korea's military said. It comes a day after the North found offensive and overwhelming responses to a new U.S. military drill with South Korea and Japan. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said in a statement the missiles were launched 10 minutes apart in a northeasterly direction from the town of Jangyeon in southeastern North Korea. It said the first missile flew 600 kilometers and the second missile 120 kilometers, but didn't say where they landed. Joint Chiefs of Staff spokesperson Lee Song-jun later told a briefing that the second missile suffered a possible abnormal flight during the initial stage of its launch. He said if the missile exploded, its debris would likely have scattered on the ground, though no damage was immediately reported. In Tokyo, Japan's Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshimasa Hayashi condemned North Korea for the test. Still ahead, an update on election campaigns in the UK. Joe Biden's family reportedly tells him to stay in the presidential race. And a visit to the Heavenly Mountain in Xinjiang. Welcome back. It is the final week of campaigning in the UK general election. The vote is on Thursday. It seems like a two-horse race for Prime Minister between incumbent Rishi Sunak and the main opposition's Keir Starmer. Starmer is ahead in the polls, but Sunak warned the Labour Party leader will ruin Britain. David Garrett reports.
If polls and predictions for the general election are right, or nearly right, this man will be the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom by the end of the week. Keir Starmer leads the Labour Party. They are expected to take over from the Conservatives. The 61-year-old was head of the Crown Prosecution Service and Director of Public Prosecutions from 2008 to 2013. Starmer moved to politics and replaced Jeremy Corbyn as Labour leader in 2020. Rishi Sunak appears to be the only man who can stop Starmer. The current leader and Prime Minister visited a Hindu temple in northwest London over the weekend. Sunak is praying for a miraculous comeback in the last week of campaigning. He told the BBC he believes he can still win despite dire predictions, including some from within his own Conservatives, a party that have ruled the UK for 14 years. Sunak became Prime Minister in 2022 after a party leadership contest following the short tenure of Liz Truss. He has not faced a vote by the country. That changes on Thursday. So it is make your mind up time for these voters who were outside London's Houses of Parliament. The UK will vote for 650 MPs. The party with an overall majority rules, with their leader as Prime Minister. They'll vote in all regions, including here in Hartlepool, a northern fishing town. Hartlepool has above average unemployment and crime, low pay and a shorter life expectancy. Locals say they are struggling and want help from Westminster. Labour is targeting voters of this kind and needs to convince them to switch from Conservative if they are to land the election.
The time I voted Conservative in my life was at the last election when Johnson promised us that we would get our waters back, and he lied through his teeth and we got nothing, absolutely nothing. So I've only ever voted Conservative once. I'm voting Labour this time.
I don't think you can believe anybody. They all come out with all this stuff, but it never happens, as far as I can see.
So politicians in Hartlepool and around Britain make their house calls and try to secure crucial last-minute support. Parties such as Right-Wing Reform UK, the Liberal Democrats, Green and Scottish National Party could all take votes away from the Conservatives and Labour. But from the moment the election was called, both men have said the choice is simple: Sunak or Starmer. David Garrett, TVB News.
Joe Biden will hit the campaign trail again this week as the debate within the Democratic Party rages as to whether he should be replaced on the ticket. Over the weekend, top voices from within the party ruled out replacing the president after his weak performance in the debate. The 81-year-old spent time with his family at Camp David, with reports that those closest to him are advising him to stay in the race. Biden has never suggested he plans to withdraw. Several newspapers and editorials have written opinion pieces suggesting Biden should step aside. And a survey found 46% of Democrats think he should be replaced following the debate. China today rolled out a series of nationwide commemorative events to celebrate the 103rd anniversary of the founding of the Communist Party of China, which falls on July 1st. Danny Zhou has more.
Recently, more than 10,000 CPC members a day visited the Nanhu Revolutionary Memorial Hall. They took the oath before the party flag and listened to stories behind the Red Boat to gain a better knowledge of party history and their predecessors' revolutionary spirit. Perched on the Nanhu Lake in East China's Jiaxing city, the iconic Red Boat was the starting point of the CPC's century-long journey. In 1921, the first CPC National Congress was concluded here, thereby announcing the establishment of the party, which is now the world's biggest Marxist governing body. Figures released by the Statistical Communique suggest that the number of CPC members reached 99.185 million at the end of last year, an increase of 1.2% from 2022. In celebration, the northwestern Longnan city saw veterans retracing the route of the Long March. Meanwhile, in Hebei's Qinhuangdao, a special torch relay was run by CPC representatives to link the revolutionary landmarks. In Xiaogan, senior party members helped youngsters put on CPC emblems during a ceremony. On the banks of the Yellow River, people held massive party flags along the flowing streams. And themed concerts were thrown in various provinces, with the audience fervently waving flags and chanting along. The military also outlined celebrations for the CPC anniversary. Thousands of soldiers stationed at training grounds, outposts, peacekeeping camps, and out at sea participated in thematic activities and took the oath before party flags. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
Up until 3 p.m. today, 125,000 cars were recorded of using the Shinenjungshan Link. The link was put into service on Sunday. On the second day of the opening of the Shinenjungshan Link, a TVB news crew tried out the new route. We started our journey in Shenzhen. Traffic became slow when we reached the undersea tunnel. It resumed normal when we arrived at the Shinenjungshan Bridge. It took us 40 minutes to get to Cuiheng New Area, Zhongshan, 10 minutes longer than the official estimated time. Xinjiang boasts a wide range of natural wonders. Among the most famous are the Tian Shan mountain ranges and the Akalteke horses. Jacqueline files this report from Xinjiang.
Tian Shan, or the Heavenly Mountain, is touted as a cradle of life of Xinjiang. As well as being a UNESCO World Heritage Site, it is an important source of water for people and animals living around it. This Shanghai tourist said he and his MBA classmates of 20 years brought along their families to Tian Shan for a reunion. This Sichuan tourist said it feels as if you are closer to heaven here in Tian Shan. Tian Shan accounts for around 1/3 of the total land area of Xinjiang. Its most famous destination is right here in Tianchi, also known as a heavenly lake. Xinjiang has the most number of horses in China. The most precious breed is the Akalteke horse, originated from Turkmenistan. One such horse was an important character in the novel Legend of the Condor Heroes by Louis Cha. It saved the lives of the heroes many times thanks to its great speed. There are only 3,000 Akalteke horses globally today, and some 400 of them reside in this horse eco-park in the Urumqi. Visitors can see them up close and understand the equestrian culture of ethnic Kazakhs living in the region. But not everyone can rein the stallions well. This rider, who is a native in Xinjiang, said they have lived with horses since young, and the horses are just like their wings. The park also serves as a breeding base for Akalteke horses and a training ground for equestrian sports. The park's representative said Akhao Teki horses are ambassadors to help cultural exchanges among Silk Road countries, especially between China and Central Asian countries.
Akhao Teki horses and regular horses both eat grass. To beef up their muscle strength, the park also gives them eggs and also oatmeal. But their favorite snack is still carrots. Jackie Lin, TVB News, Urumqi.
And that's the news. Thanks for watching.